Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to a brand new exciting kit from Let's Resin. This is their puppy keepsake making kit and it comes with absolutely everything inside to get you started, not only in resin, but to get you started making your puppy keepsakes. So if you do not own resin and you want to get into resin, this is the perfect beginner's kit as well because it comes with everything inside. Now, first up, we have got a letter sheet. So this is multiple letters, variations. You've got uppercase, lowercase, and you've got around 3, 4, 5 of each letter. You've also got some numbers. Now my sheet did crunch up a little bit, so I lost a couple of the symbols like the hashtag. Then you've got a really thorough, detailed visual instruction manual. It will show you here, you've got 3 molds, like 3 large molds, and then you've got a dog mold. You've also got these really cool handheld carabiner clips, and you've got some key rings and some jump rings. You also get the resin in the kit that you need to use. You've got some resin dyes. You've got a paw print kit, so you can do your little animals' paw prints, which I think is super, super cute. And you've got some glitters and accessories and tools in here as well. So first up, we've got the mold. We've got this 4 set of key rings. We've got little puppies with their name tags on. That's where your letters come in. So you can peel the stickers back off of the sheet and put your dog's name down below. You've also got this one. It's like a name plaque, but it's also technically a little tray as well. So if you needed to keep anything in there, you could. I would most likely use that on the wall above my dog's hooks for his harnesses and his lead. Then you've got this adorable little dog silicone mold, and honestly it actually looks like my boy George. You'll see at the end when we demold these as well. Now the kit also comes with these other molds, which I will show you. You've seen this one. This is the keyring one, but then it also comes with a photo frame mold. This is my favorite bit out of the entire mold. It is my favorite piece. The results are my favorite. It is just so versatile, and again, yeah, so much to do there. We've got a set of glitters, so we've got 12 different shade glitters, which we will be using in today's video. We've also got these resin dyes. Now these are all of the doggy colors you could possibly need, and then you could make up your own if your dog was grey or, you know, anything like that. But you've got your Labrador color in there, which I think is so adorable. In the making kit, you've got your gloves. I tend to stick with my black nitrile gloves, but the kit does come with gloves if you are new to resin. You've also got a set of magnets. These could be used with the keyring molds if you wanted to put them on the fridge instead of turning them into key rings. That is also possible, and it comes with 8 magnets, which is really handy dandy. Next up, it also comes with some keyring attachments. Now my question is, I was looking to buy multicolored jump rings and multicolored key rings not long ago, and I could not find them. So Let's Resin, where do you get them from, please? Next up, we've got these, which I absolutely love. It's such a cool thing to put into a kit that really is for you and your dog and your pets, right? These are what I would use them for holding the poo bags. Honestly, like George's poo bags, when we go out on a walk, they're in a little bag. These would be perfect just around my waist, guys. I was just about to say around my waist, around my wrist, holding my dog poo bags, because they've got gorgeous carabiners at the end and they're perfect for clipping anything onto. Then you've got your multicolored key rings. You've then got some jump rings. You've also got some screw eyelets. I didn't know what these were. I had to look. They are display stands, and I'm not going to lie, I still haven't worked out how to use them, but that's all good. I will. And then you've got your puppy paw print pad. Well, it doesn't have to be for your puppy. This paw print would work with any animal you have at home. And yeah, I just think that's an adorable touch to add this in to the kit. We already have a puppy paw print ink pad. Guys, why is it hard to say that? We have a puppy paw print ink pad at home, and we've already taken George's paw prints multiple times. You also get your epoxy resin in the kit. So again, everything in here. You've got your large mixing cups and your small mixing cups. Those smaller ones will be perfect to mix up your resin dyes in and get the right color for your dog. So again, it's all in here. So a really fantastic kit for anyone who absolutely loves resin, anyone who loves dogs or has a dog or wants to sell at a market with dog merchandise. It is perfect for that. There are also some pictures on the box and in the book of examples of what you can make and how it can turn out. Now, honestly, I'm not sticking to the colours that were sent in the kit. Now, I am currently in my manifesting your dreams, manifesting your to the stars and the universe series, and I wanted to tie it in with that. So I am going to be sticking to that theme and not necessarily going down any classic expected route with these pieces. So first up, I'm using some of the glitters that came in the kit. You've got some stunning purples and blues and pinks, which work just gorgeously with this theme, and I'm just rubbing them in around the edge. Now, this is a photo frame mold. The bone is where you're going to put your puppy's name, your dog's. I still call George a puppy and he's 4 years old, but your puppy's name is going to go in the bone. And the central area is where the photo's going to go. So you don't really want to spend any time or focus any attention on that central area, as that is just going to be your photograph anyway. So save all of your yumminess. And did you see me rub glitter over it? Yes. Yes, you did. Just don't be like me. So I've used my glitters. They are going back in the pot. Really beautiful colours in that glitter selection as well. And yeah, next up, we are going to be brushing the mould. Now, at this point, I didn't know if I was going to just make 1, 2, 3 or 4 pieces from the kit, but I do end up using pretty much everything in the kit, and that is purely because I made too much resin, but here we are. I'm then using some of the stars and moons that I already had, because this is going to tie in with my manifesting to the stars series. And yeah, so I'm just putting some around the edge and in the name plaque area, but I am avoiding the central area. Now, if I do get anything on that central section, I am just going to use sellotape to take it off, because honestly, my boy George is going to be going there and I don't want to cover him up. Then I went on to the key rings. Now, I kind of did this in sections because I wasn't necessarily planning on making everything. I was just going to make the resin and pour what I've got, but I ended up making too much, like I said. Now, I am not using the resin that came with the kit. These resin bottles have been in my craft room and they've been warming up for the last few days, so they are ready to use and perfect, whereas the kit resin has been downstairs in my hallway and it's a bit colder, so I am going to use these. These are the Let's Resin 1 litre kit, so they come with 2 bottles, 500 in each, and they are measurable 1-to-1. So pouring equal parts A, equal parts B into the large measuring cup that just came in the kit, and I'm going to give this a bit of a stir with my hand before I set it off to one side and let the Let's Resin mixing machine do the rest of the work for me. I can then crack on and I can prep these moulds. Now, as I've mentioned a couple of times, we are sticking to my current series of manifesting your dreams, and the law of attraction, and the energy you put out is what you get back, and all of those things. So of course we're going with a similar colour scheme to what I've already used. We're going blues. We're using the plum in the Let's Resin chameleons. The chameleons are just stunning. If you've not yet invested in a set of Let's Resin chameleon powders, they will last you years, depending on what you're using. Of course, if you're making an absolutely giant table mold, then you'll go through one pot. But if you're using small amounts like I am here, they will last you a very, very long time. So we're using the plum, which is one of my absolute favorite colors in the set. The chameleon on this plum is everything. It's got the blue, the purple, and the pink, which is going to tie it all in together. And I'm just using that sparingly across the whole entire mold. I'm not worried too much about the central part. The central part, we will be cleaning that up afterwards. And you can see me here, I literally only did the frame and the dog keyring. Now, there was a reason for this, honestly. There was, I promise. I know I make a lot of resin too much all the time, but this mold here is the dog mold. Now, my plan was to just create that in black. My dog is black until his hair grows out, and then he's like a salt and pepper grey dog. But when he has a groom, he is a jet black dog with a little itty bitty white chest. So I figured that the amount of resin I'd made up would be enough for this mold, the photo frame mold, the dog keychain, and the little doggy mold. But as it turns out, it didn't quite work out like that. So that is why you don't see me prepping all of the molds prior to pouring the resin. I really wasn't sure how far the resin was going to go. But also the photo frame, I looked at how much I need on the photo frame. A lot of Let's Resin molds have got exactly what you need written on them, and I love that. But of course, the photo frame mold has to be poured in 2 parts. It's a pour the bottom first, put your photo in, pour the top later. So of course I didn't take that into account, which is why I ended up with way too much resin. But here we are, we move, and it's all okay. So next up, I'm going to be adding in some black liquid pigment into the resin. That is going to be the basis for all of these pieces that I've done so far. So again, I've got stars and moons everywhere, and they were just sticking to everything. So just be neat, guys. Don't be like me. I am a chaotic crafter. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But here we are. I've added in some black liquid pigment, and this is going to fill those molds. Now, on the left of the screen, you can see the name plaque. That has only had stars and moons put in it. I thought with the black background that would be absolutely stunning, so I'm not adding any chameleon or mica into that. It's plain simple black with that absolutely stunning pop of stars, and each and every mold is going to get this resin. Now again, because I'd completely forgotten that the photo frame mold was only fill half at this point, just letting you know, I've made way too much resin. And hand on heart, it was this moment I was like, oh yeah, I only have to go halfway. So that's when I realised I would have to be filling up the rest of the moulds as well with a different design in each. I didn't just want to pour them black, but I did spend some time using a micro brush tool to go in and around all the pores. There are some gorgeous little pore details on this photo frame, and of course you don't want any micro bubbles or bubbles to attract in those 90-degree edges. So just taking a little bit of time using a micro brush tool or a cocktail stick, going in and around those to make sure that you've got everything you need to get. Now I do end up getting an air bubble, so you can try your hardest. You can only do what you can do. Sometimes resin still betrays us, let's be honest. Here we are with the little doggy. He, again, like I said, is going to be jet black. So I've just poured a little bit. He has got quite beautiful facial features and 2 gorgeous floppy ears. So you just want to pour a little bit of resin. Make sure that make sure that those ears and that nose are not going to hold on to any air pockets. So you just want to squish the face. Make sure that all of the air is out of there before you continue on. Now, next up, this dog keyring is just going to get a simple brush coat of the blue teal chameleon powder from Let's Resin, one of my favorite colors. Again, just a simple light brush. That is going to get filled up with black resin before I continue on to the next mold, because the next mold is going to get the mica chuck it in technique, one of my favorite techniques. And again, this mold I have seen so many times and I've never owned it. I've never had this mold from Let's Resin, so I'm excited to see what the puppy paw print looks like. Now, this was risk it for a biscuit because honestly I didn't know if these stars would even stick, but I have done the mica chuck it in technique here with some moons and stars. Because the mold itself is all rounded, I didn't think any of these stars and moons would be visible, but some of them are, and this has to be one of my favorite results from today's creation. Now, the circle mold got a simple scattering. Don't be like me, guys. Simple scattering of moons and stars. And then it got some mica chuck it in. Only the mica chuck it in decided to go somewhere else entirely. So try and aim your mica at the place you want it to go. A simple spray of alcohol then, and I am ready to fill it up. And guess what? I've still got loads of resin left over. Honestly, when will I learn? There is a song in there somewhere. Bottom left of the screen, you can see a completely different mold, and I'm just filling it up to use that resin. Now, 24 hours later, and these are the results. Absolutely beautiful chameleon powders. Honestly, my favorite. I think this one is a teal, not the blue. This has got that purple underbelly and it is just gorgeous. This one is the blue. I find the blue to be the least chameleon out of all of them, but still stunning. This is the mica chuck it in results that I just did in the circle. Again, beautiful. It looks very, very similar to the large round tray that I made recently. And this one, oh my goodness me, I am chuffed to bits with how this turned out. I just think it is stunning. We've got the depth in there because it's such a deep mold. You can see some of the moons and stars in there at the bottom of the puppy pad, and it's just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Next up, we've got the name plaque. Now, this got the least. I mean, I literally just threw in some moons and stars. I did leave on purpose, intentionally, a little moon on his face, but I got rid of the rest because I didn't want his face to be full of stars and moons. But I absolutely love the way they look all around that name plaque edge, and love, love, love. Now, you would put your, I mean, you could really do anything in here, honestly. You don't just have to put your dog's name. You could put a little quote, something about loving your dog to the moon and back, or something along those lines. Here's my boy. Here's my boy, George. Yesterday, I printed a photo of my dog and I cut it to size and I laminated it. I was not about to play around with glue. I laminated it in my laminator, and honestly, it came out really well. My laminator is old and it tends to wrinkle up a lot of the pieces that we put through, but it didn't do it this time. So I'm seriously happy about that. And he just looks utterly adorable in this photo. Now, I have marked on the black resin where the photo is expected to land to make it perfectly placed. However, you will know as much as I do that once I pour the clear resin, those marks will all but disappear. So maybe some silver pen would have been more beneficial. However, it was pretty tight on space, so I already kind of knew that as long as I couldn't see any of that clear silicone mold, then it's all good. Next up, we're adding the names to the molds, and I'm going to speed through this because this is actually quite a long video. So I'm just adding my boy's name to this keyring, which of course is George. If you are new here, you may not have known that, but my little dog is called George. We got him 4 years ago. He is 4, and 4 years ago, on St. George's Day, we were on our way to pick up our gorgeous new puppy. We got a puppy we did not rescue. We tried. It was 6 months of research, and sadly, a lot of dogs weren't able to come into a home with children. They weren't able to come into a home with other dogs. They needed to come into a home with a 6-foot fence. We don't have that. So there were a lot of restrictions on our side, and we felt that because we do have children, they have to come first, and thus we got a puppy, and we got George, and we got him on St. George's Day. So his name was a complete fluke. We were driving to the property to pick him up, and Tim just said in the car, "Oh my goodness, it's St. George's Day today." I said, "Oh yeah, happy St. George's Day." And that was it. He said, "We'll call him George." And I could not have picked a better name. I was really honestly going down the dog route. For me, it was going to be Raven or Crow or Luna or, one of these really typical common dog names. And yeah, I'm so glad the universe intervened and he is called George. And because I've said his name, guys, I don't know if you can hear the ball bouncing in the background. He was asleep next to me whilst I was doing this voiceover, but because I've said his name so many times, he's trying to bring the ball over to me to play, and now my heart is slightly broken. Now, you see there, I've poured the clear resin and those scratch marks completely disappeared. So that's the beauty of resin. It clears up some scratches and it clears up some mess. But here I am laying George's photo down. Now, you saw me there hold it up against the frame as well to make sure that I know where it's going to go. But it was really easy because as soon as the resin moves the picture, you start to see the clear silicone underneath. You can start to see it here. It gradually moves down the mold. If you look at the top, you'll see it. So I did know that I had to make sure that I keep on top of that and I move it back up to where it's got to be. I am kicking myself right now, truly kicking myself. At this moment, what I should have done was used that clear resin straight over the top of George in the name plaque. The large name plaque needed a clear coat. I should have used it right now, but I didn't, because what I really want to do is mix in some white resin, and I want to fill in all of the spaces on the key rings and the name plaque. And that's a massive regret. I wish I never did it. I wish I never took this route. I just should have left it as is. I should have left them clean as they were. They were visible, we could see them, but sadly no, I acted on impulse because the resin was getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and I panicked, so I added white. It started to set in the bottle, which made it super hot in my hands, and this is just a lesson. This is just the way it was for me on that day. I didn't give myself time to think, so what I really should have done was poured the clear into the name plaque. That would have been finished at this point, and just left the key rings alone. But no, I wanted to fill them up with white, and I didn't do a very good job of it. Usually I would use white acrylic paint, and that does a great job, but on this occasion, hey, I messed up. What can I say? Yeah, that's it. Nothing more to say here. There's nothing to be seen. I messed up, and we'll leave it as that. I ended up using the resin instead of white acrylic paint. And I mean, I cleaned them off. They were okay. They just weren't to my normal standard, and they weren't at a level I was happy with. This one didn't turn out too bad. I used a lollipop stick covered in a wet wipe to get a really nice clean scrape on this one. So they're not horrific, they're just not neat, and they're not good, and they could have been a lot better. Now, I am using the Let's Resin UV resin to top coat all of these beautiful pieces, and I'm using Let's Resin's UV resin for the first time to fill the name plaque. For the first time, as in the first time doing a major piece. I usually only use Let's Resin for smaller things, you know, to top coat key rings or to top coat earrings or anything like that. But I'm using it in the name plaque. I figured, why not, right? What's the worst that could happen? And we are here, we are ready to use it, and we've got the UV resin light ready to go. Again, don't do this. The UV resin worked a dream. I had to make sure that there was no UV, my blinds were closed, there was nothing that was going to cure this before it was ready. So I tilted the name plaque all the way around and made sure that the resin reached each and every corner of the plaque. I mean, it couldn't have been more straightforward. What I did do at this point was I just used my torch to hit it with the torch, making sure that there were no bubbles. Do this away from anything so you don't, injure anything. And then I set it under the UV light. But something weird happened, and it's almost like it came away from the edges. Now, if you've ever used UV resin, we all know that UV resin can and has at times kind of bent a bit. It can bend up the edges, and I think that's what happened on the George plaque. You can see the edges are not right, but we also know that UV resin, whilst it is fabulous for top coating, it can top coat all of your little pieces and it will stay there, but it can also peel away, right? If you remember a year or two ago, Wendy from Toompish Crafts did a test to test UV resins on top of epoxy resins, and she found that if you get under it, it can in fact just peel away from your epoxy resin. And for that reason, I decided not to use epoxy resin on my photo tray. Look at my boy. Guys, you will not believe it. You could not make this up. He's got stars in his eyes. Now, this of course was not intentional. I cleaned the mould prior to adding the clear resin. And did I check the photo thoroughly to make sure that there were no glitters or statics that had stuck to the photo before laying it down? No. So now my boy has a permanent star just over his eye. I'm not angry about it. It's not in his eyes, so I'm okay with it. Now, to finish off this mould, I am using the silver Deco Colour pen. This is one of my absolute go-to silver highlighters. Not even a highlighter, it's a metallic highlighter pen, and it is stunning. It's one of the best out there. It's the Deco Colour. If I find it on Amazon, I will link it below, but I'm simply highlighting the edge of the bone name plaque, and the edge of all of those paws. They are super cute. Now, I did my best to make sure I got no air pockets in there, but there were some air pockets. So once they are all highlighted, it's time to add George's name. I used my Cricut for George's name on this one because I've used up all of the letters. You get 3 letters of each, and of course I'm going over and over and over with the George, so they're all gone now. I can't use any more. So I did go to my Cricut and I cut out my gorgeous boy's name, and I'm sticking it right in the center, and it's pretty much as central as I could possibly get it, and I'm peeling it back. Now at this point, if you wanted to, you could lay down a clear layer of resin here just to stick that George in place, but honestly, it's going nowhere. It's permanent white vinyl. Unless you physically go in to scrape it off, it's not moving. So I decided to leave it here. Also, once you use chameleon powders or mica on your mold, it's very matte compared. So I didn't want a glossy resin finish in the name and a matte around the edge. Now, this was really irking me and bugging me. I really wanted to get it out and just do it again. But yeah, my gut was saying, Claire, leave it. Because what if? What if at this point in the video, you're just going to destroy it even further? So I did decide to leave it. I still think this is an absolutely gorgeous kit. It's human error, the things that went wrong. A couple of the keyring molds were a bit warped. And I didn't know if they were warped because my craft room was so hot, or if the resin just got too hot for them. The circle was a little bit warped, so I decided not to top coat it because it was a bit bent in the center. Sometimes some of these molds have got the strengthening platforms behind them, and they can cause dents and divots. So it could be that, it could be my human error. But either way, I decided not to top coat it because there was some warping going on the keyring ones. Equally, the photo frame is hands down my favorite, and the paw. Look at this. It's just adorable. If you are a dog lover, this one is absolutely for you. Or if you sell at fairs where you know there's going to be dogs, this one will, oh my gosh, stand out. So thank you so much to Let's Resin for sending this over to me. If you are interested in this kit, all the details will be linked below. Guys, don't forget to use your code. It's imperative you get that money off at the checkout. But he's so adorable. I love him to pieces, except when he steals my socks and he picks up things that he's not meant to have because he knows he's going to get a treat for it because I haven't trained him very well. But hey, he's the love of my life. I will see you all in the next video. Bye.